Final round.
Power.
Nice shot.
KO.
Welcome to Gaymer Girls. Welcome to Gaymer Girls, the gaming podcast full of nerd news and lore lectures for the girls and the gamers. I'm your host for today, Van.
And I'm Sana.
And Sana, have you ever played dating simulators?
Have I played a dating simulator? I don't think I have.
Okay. Well, a dating simulator, for those who are perhaps unaware, are story-based visual novels or love game type games where you can go around, be a character, and you are introduced to a load of other characters whom you can date, and you follow their storylines, and it's a visual novel. It's really sort of an interactive way to play love games, pretty much.
Yeah.
So I think they're very fun, but I have a specific genre of dating sims that I like to play, and they are specifically known as absurd dating sims. Like there's a couple that people may have heard of. Raptor Boyfriend is one of them. Hatoful Boyfriend, and they're what you think of. Raptor Boyfriend is about having a raptor for a boyfriend.
Are you also a raptor?
No.
It's just your boyfriend's a raptor.
It's just your boyfriend's a raptor. Yeah, no, it's Raptor Boyfriend specifically. There's another one. It's called, what I mentioned was Hatoful Boyfriend, a pigeon dating simulator.
I think I've seen this
You
one.
have?
I've definitely seen screenshots of this and being like, this is hilarious.
Yes, it's a ridiculous, over-the-top, absurdist game, and they're usually short, quick bite, but we're going to be talking about my favorite one called Dream Daddy, a dad dating simulator. And it was created as a visual novel / dating sim by the Game Grumps in 2017. And I recently picked this back up again. I was having a great time. And you can run through the whole story, and I got to an ending in about 4 hours, and you can go much quicker than that. I'm sure you can clock it in about 2. But it is unironically a heartfelt and engaging story, and it is certainly just a feel-good game. I play this game there's not like too much replayability. You have a fair amount of dads you can date, but maybe I should just start with who you are in this game. And what
that would be
you
a good
do.
place, yeah.
You are a single dad of a wonderful young woman named Amanda. Amanda is 18. She is just finishing high school. But you and Amanda are moving across town, and you are starting a new life in a new cul-de-sac. And this story follows you and your relationship with Amanda, but also you and your dating life, and you can choose certain things right off the bat. So you choose whether you had an ex-wife or an ex-husband, and maybe ex is not the right word because your partner has passed, and this is all set up in the first 5 minutes. It's not really spoilery.
Yeah.
There's not really spoilers to be had. I will let you know if there's something that comes up where I'm talking about the final ending here.
Yeah, for sure.
But basically, you get to decide whether or not Amanda was adopted or whether she was born to you, and your partner has passed away since, and it's been a while, and I know your characters are not over it. Of course, you're never over the death of a loved one, but have moved on, and you are ready to date anew in your new cul-de-sac.
Hell yeah.
They give you a very real and cogent personality. You overthink. You're an overthinker, and you get like these monologues. It's like the little analog typing sounds as you have your little like dialogue options. There's very dialogue heavy scenes. You do have an option to skip through all of your dialogue until a choice comes up, but you go, and we're starting the day moving officially into your new house. So you grab the last of your items, you get to build your own dad. And they went all in terms of the actual, like the music that's playing in the background. There's like, Dream Daddy. Like it is, like they have a soundtrack that is lovely. Whenever you enter into your little character creation module, it's the narrator going, build that dad. Name that dad.
Incredible.
It's very cute. You can pick your body type. They have the option for binders as well, or like half binders and full tank tops. You can add or remove body hair and piercings and glasses and pick your outfit. There was the original game that came out in 2017, but there was a dad rector's cut, like a director's cut that came out in 2018, and I didn't realize that because I hadn't played the game in so long, so I got to play the dad rector's cut, which was cute. It's just extra little cut scenes, some more dialogue that you get, because guess what? Very shortly after you enter this town, you are going to go about your day, meet a few people, you get invited to a barbecue, and you get added to Dad Book. Like a Facebook.
Incredible.
For dads.
Just dads.
And your daughter's also on there. And she's posing as a fellow father. But you get to actually have message conversations. So let's just start with beginning of the day. You're moving over and you and Amanda are ready for a new adventure. And you get these options to, what do you want to do to start your day? Do you want to grab a cup of coffee? Do you want to unpack for a little bit? Or do you want to go get some fresh air, take a walk around the park? What would you like to do?
I would probably start by going to get a cup of coffee.
Absolutely. So you go get a cup of coffee at a very cute little coffee shop where you meet Matt. Matt is a hottie who's also a little anxious.
Okay.
He's constantly overthinking himself, but he's very like smooth. He's got this kind of like artistic hippie thing going.
So we're
wearing
birds of a
jean
feather
jacket.
on the overthinking
Yes,
part of
we
things.
are, and we relate on that point. And he's really into music. So you can make choices throughout the game, conversational choices, that will make the dad that you're talking to either happy, where you get little heart emojis, or they may dislike your answer and you get like a little puff of smoke, like storm kind of vibes, or if they really like it, you get the heart emojis and eggplant emojis.
Oh, that's
So
really funny.
you get to pick the name of a banana bread that Matt will let you try. It's a new for the shop. And just because I was explaining he's like a tall black man. He's got dreads pulled back. He's got these glasses. He's into music. He's wearing like a jean jacket and layers, and he's very sweet. He's one of my favorite dads, to be honest. And he has a 13-year-old daughter as well. But he brings out some new banana bread, and you get to name the banana bread. And if he likes your
funny.
answer, your approval rating goes up. So you've gone and gotten some coffee. I'm going to run you through the rest of the dads that are available to date, and you can let me know who you're interested in. So we've met Matt Sella. He's a musician. Your first date with him is that you actually are going to go out to a punk show. And if you choose to go out on a date with him, you get 3 dates with every dad, and that's when you're introduced to Dad Book, basically, and that's how you schedule your dates. When you're walking either to or from your new house, or going out to get some fresh air, or back from the coffee shop, you're gonna run into Craig Kahn, who is your old college roommate. He's a very fit Asian guy. He's carrying a little baby in like a holder, and he's got 2 middle school girls, and he is a fitness fanatic. It's your buddy Craig. Guess what? He also lives in your cul-de-sac. If I didn't make it clear, every single one of these dads is your neighbor.
I see.
So
tight-knit community.
Absolutely. You could also take a walk in a park if you'd like on this first day, where you will meet Brian. He's a big, I think he's very Irish. He's a very heavy-set, smiley guy with a big presence, and he's got a daughter who he brags about. And you actually go into a little mini game where it's a Pokemon style battle with your daughters, and you have to defeat his daughter in terms of
You have
giving
to
praise.
out-brag him about
Yes!
your own kid.
It's a brag battle, and it's very cute. It's adorable. I have a competitive spirit, and he gets really annoying with how he brags about his daughter. He's a one-upper for sure. The way to win the best approval is to let him win, I do believe, in that first battle. So that is Brian Harding. Your own character makes a note like, oh, that guy, when he said where he lived in the cul-de-sac, that's the house that looks exactly like mine, but bigger with a better porch. Like, this guy is very much a one-upper. So that's Brian. So you're gonna go back home eventually to pack after you've gone to get a cup of coffee, maybe gotten some fresh air in the park. You've run into your old buddy from college.
Absolutely.
You'll actually get a little friendly knock on the door from another neighborhood dad, a youth minister named Joseph Christensen, who is the only married dad
Interesting.
the crew. So he is very clean cut. He's like tall, blonde. I say tall. That's going off vibes. All of these people are the same height in the player
For sure.
screen. So he is the youth minister of a local church. He invites you over to a backyard barbecue that weekend.
Oh, lovely.
He is very nice. You get kind of off on the wrong foot. You're a little socially awkward. So, you talk about, oh, you have kids, and you're like, oh, I have one kid. I think it'd be crazy to have four? He has 4 kids. And all of his kids are their names are various versions of the word Christian. So he's Christina, Christian, and there's another
Christopher,
one. There's something like that probably. So he is married, but we'll get to his wife in a bit. So your daughter, you're only moving across town, so your daughter has some friends from high school, and she's like, hey, they're coming over to my, Dad, can you please make yourself scarce? You and your daughter Amanda have a great relationship, so you're like, fine, I'll get out of your hair.
Yeah.
Order a pizza, have fun. Your daughter's an adult, so, you're just trying to give her that space,
Exactly.
but you care deeply about your relationship with her. So you get out of town, and you're wandering around, and you're looking for the game, the sports game, anywhere. So you find a bar, and it's playing the game with, guess what, your preferred team. Now imagine I'm saying everything with the capitals on each word.
Yes.
The, capital T, game, capital G. So you walk in, and you're approached by a rather sultry-looking woman. Red hair, dark circles under her eyes. She looks a little haunted, holding a glass of red wine. She's clearly sloshed, and she hits on you. You can either buy her a drink, or you can politely decline. And it turns out her name is Mary, and she is Joseph's wife.
Oh, no.
Wife. We'll get to how they discuss sexuality in a little bit, but you encounter her at a bar, but you also encounter a brooding older man who happens to be rooting for the opposite team, but he buys you a whiskey shot after your team wins. He's kind of gruff. He's got some funky sense of humor where it's a little dark, but you kind of get through to it. Eventually, he buys you a shot, he goes to the bathroom, the bartender turns to you, and it just lets you know, hey, I've never heard Robert open up like that to anybody so fast.
Oh, wow.
So earlier you were in the coffee shop, and you also happened to catch him out of the corner of your eye just looking at you. And then, you had oh, maybe he was looking at me because he wanted to flirt. Maybe, I don't know. I kind of got some weird vibes, but this is the guy you run into at the bar again. And you have the opportunity to have a one-night stand with him should you choose.
Oh, already?
You can night one. You can wake up in that man's bed where he kind of tells you gruffly to leave. You have a good night. That's made clear. And you...
But he's telling you to go home.
He's telling you to go home. So I think Robert is one of the more fun dads. He has a very dark sense of humor, but it's clearly humor. He's lived a life. He's older than the other dads. I would say he's a rough looking late 40s or maybe early 50s. Most of the other dads are in their I actually was trying to figure out the timeline because Amanda's 18. And there's some references to timelines. I think everybody's either late 30s, early 40s, but you have a bit of a range in terms of the dads here. So it's very diverse. Very diverse dads. So those are all the characters who you can meet on day one. You wake up, and how I usually wake up is a little hungover in Robert's bed. So I'm like, shit. My daughter told me she had a meeting set up for me and her English teacher at school that day. I gotta run. I'm late. Some punk kid tells me to go down the wrong hallway, so I'm even more late to meet Mr. Vega, the English teacher.
Off on the wrong foot already.
Absolutely off on the wrong foot. Now, Vega is actually Hugo Vega. Is an avid bookworm and Amanda's high school English teacher. And immediately there's a little bit of a connection, a little bit of educational banter. So you can choose some things about your dad, like whether he's a music nerd. You can make conversational choices. But your character is not necessarily the auteur of the finest arts.
For sure.
So you can try and engage in knowing conversation and about whatever book they're reading, but Hugo kind of catches you out, but it's a little bit of a cute moment.
Yeah.
And he is also one of your dateable dads.
Oh.
But that might get a little complicated because
he's your daughter's English teacher.
Exactly. Hugo brings up that your daughter's actually been struggling a little bit. English was her favorite class.
Yeah.
And she performed extremely well, but her grades are dropping. And she seems to be having a hard time. And you let him know, hey, we just moved. Like, maybe she's having a rough time with that.
Yeah.
But you want to connect with your daughter. So you offer to take her out for like mall food court nachos. Or you can just take her back home and you guys can have like a night of making pizzas or something and having a little like bonding moment. But you want to connect with your daughter, see what's going on in her life. So you can bring her to the mall where you can stop by her favorite store, which is a knockoff Hot Topic, whatever they could get away with legally, I'm sure.
Yeah.
See an interaction between a man dressed in full Victorian outerwear, haggling or harassing this teenage mall store employee because the shirt that he bought isn't technically period accurate. It's Edwardian, not Victorian. How dare you? And that is when you meet Damien Bloodmarch. It was a goth. He's obsessed with Victorian era fashion. His house is all black. He and his son are such a cute duo because they both like bow when they meet people. And his son was actually the punk who told you to go down the wrong hallway. Those are all of your dads. You got Matt, Craig, Hugo, Brian, Damien, Robert, and Joseph. Fun fact about Damien is that he was actually one of so the game was nominated for a lot of awards. It was nominated for Best Visual Novel in the 2017 Game of the Year Awards, Best Adventure Game in IGN's Best of 2017 Awards, runner-up for Best New Character, and that is Damien Bloodmarch, so he's the only one that got kind of called out, which was a surprise to me. Just maybe because I haven't engaged with his storyline as much. I know I finished every single dad's story at some point. He's a fun guy because you end up running into him at the animal shelter when he's dressed totally normally, and it turns out he volunteers for the animal shelter. He's got some fun little tidbits about things. All these characters have hidden pastimes and things. Hugo Vega, turns out, is ripped, and he's got a wrestling-like interest, and so one of your dates with Amanda's English teacher is you guys are wrestling on his bed together, if you know what I mean. But Damien Bloodmarch got called out. There was the Best Cast of Characters in Game of the Year in Giant Bomb's 2017 Game of the Year Awards. And it won only one award, biggest surprise in Game Informer's 2017 Adventure Game of the Year Awards. So there are a few interesting points about this game that I thought we could run over as well, which is that there are games inside games. So there's this love game, you have this dad book, you go to this barbecue on Saturday, meet the rest of the dads. If you run into Robert again, he actually ignores you, and guess what? He ghosts you too until he drunk texts you after another date. He really is rude. But these dads are varied in their relationships to their kids, to their partners. Some are widows, or is there a difference between a male and female widower? I'm not sure if there's a terminology difference there.
I'm not sure.
But some have exes, Joseph is still married, and that one he's got a lot of Christian guilt as well, and there's no room for that in his church, so you actually can't have happy endings with all these characters. You cannot have a happy ending with Joseph because he will choose the church and his Christian beliefs and his wife. You cannot have a happy ending with Robert, the bad daddy, the older one, because and you never meet his daughter. He has an estranged relationship with his daughter, and he's not emotionally available. So he lets you down gently. It's hard.
Just like real life, sometimes things don't work out.
Exactly. Depending on your approval rating, you may not get the happiest ending. My first little playthrough back, I sat down and I wanted to get Craig, and I thought we were going really well. You get ranked at the end of every date. 3 dates per character. On the third, if you choose to have a third date with someone, that means you're choosing that character as your ending. And I had gotten A ranks and a couple S ranks here or there on whatever mini games there were. He actually just said he was too busy for me because he does a lot. He's got to take care of 3 kids. He runs a business. He keeps fit. but he's too busy for me. So yeah, it's really sad. But you go through a lot of character growth too. Your character becomes more physically active and becomes more connected to their community, has hobbies and pastimes. You help out Amanda. She has a hard time. Friends are very mean to her at some points. And you can choose to be a bad father and ignore her. And she will separate from you. She will not be interested. If you do not support her, she gets rejected from an art school she really wants to go to in terms of college. And if you don't choose to support her, that has actual consequences. And I feel so bad when I make bad decisions. So I've never been able to run a bad dad playthrough, which I think is one of the actual achievements you can get, is by being a shitty father.
I see.
It is a very fun game. There was a little bit of, not perhaps controversy, but a mystery surrounding some cut content that a user was able to find in the code of the game, where there's actually a cult ending.
Oh.
So turns out there was supposedly an ending that fans theorized was going to be held off until like maybe a Halloween release or some DLC that was going to come out later, where you could romance Joseph, the youth minister. He invites you onto his yacht for his third date, and if you choose to sleep with him, and you could possibly wake up in a dungeon where it turns out he's been running a cult and his children are demonic entities. For some reason, it was still in the code, but never actually completed. A lot of people were trying to get those endings, and it's sort of unknown why this was never finished or put out or even a part of it in the first place. There's other theories that are saying that there was going to be some kind of weird twist ending to every single dad's romance and make it more of like a Doki Doki Literature Club-esque situation.
I see, yeah.
Doki Doki Literature Club, for those who are unaware, is a dating sim that is actually a horror game, but you would not know that starting right off.
It starts out as a normal dating sim, and then it becomes like I almost want to say like a technological horror game.
Very much so.
Partway through, it starts to get very dark and twisted.
And meta as well.
Yeah,
it breaks a lot of
meta.
fourth walls.
Yeah.
So very terrifying. I truly terrifying. I highly recommend watching a playthrough, because playing it yourself, I don't know, I get scared. So there was basically this cult ending that was very fun. But ultimately, it is just a very wholesome game. The way that they handle queer identities is also very interesting, because they don't necessarily have every dad come out.
Yeah.
You don't come out. You don't have any signifying conversations where it's like, I became gay, or I realized I was, hold on, not I became gay.
But I realized I was gay, or I realized I was bisexual.
Yes. They avoided those conversations because the creators specifically noted that, and again, the creators are part of the Game Grumps, so it was directed by Tyler J. Hutchinson, produced by Aaron Hansen and Brent Lilly. The creators wanted to have a game where coming out and your identity was not the point of the game. The point of this game is to get to know people, connect with your daughter and your community. It is about the people more than the identities. And I think they saw a perhaps disparity between LGBT games and how much they focused on identity politics and that sort of like recognition and having main stories around that. But they just wanted something that was about people, a feel-good, wholesome game, so they don't actually address everyone's sexuality. It does come up a few times, so you are surprised when it turns out that you and Craig, your old college roommate who's been married to your friend Smashley for a while, Craig, also known as Kegstan Craig, you guys have a bro night where you can, your first date is going camping, and you can make a move on Craig, and it's a little bit of a surprise to you because you never knew. I like to think that, you know, they definitely explored each other's bodies kind of meme. I think something happened in college, and they both refused to acknowledge it. But you have these moments where, especially when it comes to Joseph, he has these conflicts of interest with his religion and his wife and his duties as a father, in comparison to accepting his sexuality. So you do have these moments, but it's not about the identities. I don't think you learn some of these folks' identities whatsoever, and you never clarify your identity.
Yeah.
So it's just a fun game. I know I've said that 1,000 times, but I have so much fun. It is very cheap. You can get it on Steam, and it's got replayability. You can go through the entire game as well, just over and over again, different dialogue options.
Yeah.
There are achievements and whatnot. Made by the Game Grumps, co-written and created by Vernon Shaw, directed by Tyler J. Hutchinson. Good game. Good game.
Good game.
Thank you for listening.
Of course.
And thank you all for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all that. Tell me what kind of dad you'd want to date. If you played this game, please tell me which was your favorite dad. I think hands down, Music Dad is one of my favorites. I like there's a couple mini games you have to play. You have to dodge through different crowds at this punk show to make it back to Matt. I like this coffee shop. I like his vibes. You have a very romantic evening listening to music on your second date. So it's just, he's my favorite dad. Who do you think out of all the dads you would enjoy?
Honestly, I'm enough of a coffee lover that I would say Matt.
I had a feeling. Yeah, I think Matt for the win for both of us. So I hope you have a nice day, and go ahead and download Dream Daddy, a dad dating simulator, okay?
We'll see you next time.
Bye. Woo!